Hi, thank you so much for coming to our page. My name is Marty Mead and I'm a sales and design specialist here at Custom Creations West Pools in Vista, California. We love building pools, a lot. But in preparation for our first visit, we feel it's important for you to start to consider a few things so that you're more prepared for that first visit out at your house. The most important thing for you to consider, I feel, is your size, your height. Are you tall? Are you not so tall? Taller people typically want deeper pools. People who aren't so tall are good at 5.5 foot deep. So take a look at your height, your spouse's height, your kids' heights. If your parents happen to be alive and they'll be coming to the pool a lot, consider their heights as well. When I come out to your house, I'm going to ask you a lot of questions about your family. You might think that's kind of odd. I actually had one family where I was asking the husband and the wife, what are your kids like? How old are your kids? And at some point they looked at me and said, why are you asking so much about our kids? And I think they thought that I was some kind of a weirdo profiling their family for something odd. Maybe they've watched too many episodes of CSI or Criminal Minds, but I assured them that my questions were so that I could better understand how the pool would be used. Case in point, I designed a pool that had 3 boys, and they were between the ages of 9 and 16. They were big time into BMX and skateboarding, and their dad knew that eventually they'd build some kind of ramp to jump either their skateboards or their bicycles or, God forbid, a motorcycle into that pool. So we made that pool 8.5 feet deep to accommodate their action sports ambitions. Not sure how they're doing today. It's one of the clients I don't follow up with too often because I don't want to hear about any horror stories. Conversely, that particular family happened to have 2 teenage daughters. That particular pool ended up with a very large Baja shelf, also known as a tanning shelf, with additional umbrella sleeves to accommodate their kids and their kids' friends, all competing to see who can get darker or who can get their hair blonder over the summertime period. So the most important thing is to consider your family dynamic, and what you're going to use the pool for. Along with the depths of the pool, we find that a lot of pool owners today are going with a shallow, deep in the middle, shallow on the other end. What we learned in the 80s and 90s is that nobody wants to tread water. We're not all part of the U.S. Water polo team, and treading water isn't something that we look forward to, right? So consider a lot the depths of the pool and the reason that you're going to use the pool for, right? The purposes. Another thing to consider, do you want your pool to be curvy and free-formed, or are you looking for something that's more geometric with 45 and 90 degree angles, right? That's not something that I can decide for you. So you need to start looking at pictures on the internet to see, do you prefer more of those clean, timeless lines, or are you looking for something that's a little bit more free and fun and sort of has more character to it? Not that a geometric pool doesn't have character, it's just a difference of one's likes and opinions. Obviously, a super important thing to consider is your budget. What is your budget? A lot of times as a designer, we're going to design to the budget that you give us. And there is a very big difference between an $80,000 pool and a $150,000 pool. So let us know up front what your budget is, and we'll do our best to design within that budget. It can be a bit of a loaded question. It can be very difficult to answer. Some people do choose to say, Marty, design me what I want. Let me know what it costs, and I'll let you know what I can afford. That may be the choice that you decide to do, and that does work as well. Be open to pool financing. The economy changes all the time. Many of my clients would rather borrow the money because they have a little bit of extra money every month that they could put towards the loan versus saving up the money and then using all of their capital that they have saved and reserved for a pool when things can change on a dime and you might need access to that capital. Interest rates on a pool-only financing program are going to be higher than your traditional home loan or a traditional collateralized loan because pool loans are typically unsecured, and it's not like they can go and repossess your pool or your pool equipment. So be open to pool financing, at least take a look at it and see if it might be something that fits you and your family. one of the things that I recommend to all my clients is talk to people who have had pools built in the past. I'm a sales guy. I have my opinions. I have my biases. They're different than my bosses. They're different than my coworkers. But we have a vested interest in the commission that comes at the end of a pool. So talk to people that have no skin in the game, who have done pools or inherited pools by buying a house with a pool. Ask them some of the things they would have done differently. Ask them what they wish their pool had or what they wish they had added. Get as much insight from people who have already built pools or who have bought homes that have a pool, so that you go into this with a much better understanding and a much better expectation of what owning a pool is like. Ultimately, our first visit's going to be about a half hour of me asking you a number of questions, and then you giving me a bunch of answers, and I'm going to write as much down as I can, and I'm going to go out back and measure your yard. Being completely honest with you, I would say the most important thing that you need to do before I get to your house on that first visit is make sure that you really want to get a pool. Most of us do our initial consultation and our initial design and bid at no cost to you. There's nothing more frustrating for me as a designer to go out, meet with a client, design what they asked me to design, have it fit within the budget that they gave me, only to tell me last minute, we decided not to get a pool. That happens. I understand it. I don't hold that against people, but this isn't necessarily the easiest job in the world, and designing a pool, though it can be very fun and artistic, it is time, it is effort. And so just be sure that if it's something that you want to do, make sure you follow through, or be respectful of the designer's time and let them know up front that you're not really that serious about getting a pool. We're not going to be offended by that. We want to work with the people that want to work with us. Ultimately, getting a pool is like any other major financial decision. Take your time, make sure it's the right thing for you. Don't be pushed or pulled by the designer, the bidder, the builder. It's always up to you and your family, so do what's best for them. I look forward to meeting you guys. I look forward to hearing all your questions. Thank you again for watching this video. I'll see you soon.